Good morning, Hosho staff, students, and families. Ya'ate Abena. Ready to start our day? So please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Our voices are off, bodies are still, eyes are on the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, January 28th. And today, we haven't had announcements for 3 days because we had snow, and then I apologize. Yesterday I was digging out of snow and couldn't get here in time to do the announcements. But announcements are going to continue every single day that I'm not trapped in a snowstorm or trapped in the snow left over from the snowstorm. Okay, friends, so we're going to continue with the music that we had from last week because we didn't have enough days to really hear it. Do you remember? This is the piece that Mrs. Neff has selected for us. Do you remember who the composer is? He's a familiar composer. And let's see if you can remember the composer and the title. Do you remember? The composer is Claude Debussy, and the name of this piece is En Bateau, Petite Suite. That's right. Did you get a chance to watch the video? There are actually 2 young ladies playing this piece on the piano. Very impressive. And do you remember we had Claude Debussy before? We have another selection. Do you remember? Do you remember that piece? Clair de Lune by Claude Debussy. And this past weekend, Miss Temkit became Mrs. Farrell. She got married, and they played that piece of music at her reception. So that was nice. They also played, let's see, this piece. Do you remember that piece? Now it's for Miss Temkit's wedding. Do you know what her first name is? Elise. It's a hint. For Elise by Beethoven, right? And the new Mr. Berg has given us some new paintings. Remember, who was the artist that we've been studying this week? John Singer Sargent, right? And do you remember these folks, these young kids? Edward and Marie-Louise Payon, remember? And we also met this family, the daughters of Edward Darley Boit. Remember? John Singer Sargent. Well, today we have a new piece. And this one is called El Helio. And it is of which means ruckus in Spanish, I'm told. This painting is not like his other paintings because it's not of just some people in high society. These are it's a flamenco dancer and some musicians. And Mr. Berg wanted to point out this very little color. You can barely see it, but there's a little orange right here on the chair and a little splash of color over there. Otherwise, it's mostly the same kind of tone, whites and darks. some brush strokes. And according to Mr. Burke, this painting is huge. It is 12 feet by 7 feet. And so when you look at it, it's almost like the people are exactly life size. Wouldn't you think that would be so hard to paint a painting that was so big? You can, if I have a little tiny piece of paper or a little canvas, and I can make a painting right here, but it would be so hard to make one that was that large. So it takes a lot of talent and a lot of practice, right? Because just because you may not be able to paint this today, or maybe even ever, right? This is pretty impressive. But you can always be better, right? You can always make yourself a better artist, a better reader, a better scientist with practice, right? Practice. Practice to make yourself better. And some architecture, just so we don't forget. This is the White House. That's right, we talked about having a new president in the White House. Joseph Biden, we're going to have to memorize. Now we have 46 presidents to remember. Last year we only had 45. Now we have 46. And this, do you remember one of our presidents? Jefferson Memorial. And U.S. Capitol Building. And Washington Monument. Did you get all those? One day let's take a trip to Washington, D.C. and go see all of those. We've been doing the Bill of Rights, and I will have a poem next week. We don't have a poem this week, but we will have a poem for next week. So we've been doing the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution, which is the law of our country. And so the first 5, let's do the first 4, and then the 5 we'll do a little slower. So First Amendment, if you remember, say it with me. See how much of it you can say. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Third Amendment. No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Did you get all 4 of those? Okay, the 5th one, we had just started to practice that one before we left for the holiday break. So I'll say a portion and then you repeat. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in land or naval forces, or in the militia, when in actual service, in time of war, or public danger. Okay, that's the first section. The next section. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. That's a lot to remember, isn't it? And it may not seem as important to you right now, but there were people who put their lives on the line and developed this country that we live in. And they have left us with some responsibilities. And those responsibilities are to make sure that our country keeps going. And in order to do that, we need to note these things. We say the preamble to the Constitution. We're memorizing the first 10 amendments to the Constitution that protect our rights. The Declaration of Independence tells us what our role and duties are as human beings, right? To not be suppressed under tyranny, but to be self-governed, to be we the people. And that's why we keep practicing these things. So some birthdays. We missed a couple birthdays because we were not in school. So Isabella had a birthday. Happy birthday, Isabella. And Leah had a birthday. I hope you two ladies had great birthdays. You probably received your report card in the mail. If it had some incompletes on it, most people did have some incompletes. You can make those up, or you can talk to your teacher about what you need to do to make sure that you have a pass, especially in literacy, English if you're in middle school, and math. Those are the most important because we can't go on to the next grade level. If you don't know 4th grade math, we can't go do 5th grade math until you learn 4th grade math, because then 5th grade math will be way too hard. So we have to get through all of that math and the literacy and the literature to make sure that you're ready for the next grade level. So, but we do have students coming back to school, so if you would like to come back to school, you may. And also, pretty soon, we're going to be able to have 7th grade come back to school. Right now, the governor has said that we have a target date of February 8th, but there are a lot of things that the schools are required to do in order to bring back 7th grade students or older. And so we're doing those things, but how fast things will happen, I'm not certain. But soon, my friends, 7th graders will be back, and soon we'll all be back. Looking forward to that day. Okay, friends, that's all we have for today. So let's do our student pledge. I will do the good, I will learn the true, and I will love the beautiful. And I hope you have a great day today.